Hey, welcome back to Modern Era Code. In this video, we'll wrap up building our full stack web app. We'll finish up building out our services page, which will give us a list of the services we offer. When a user clicks on one of these services, it'll route us back to our booking page with that service pre-selected. Now, this is going to require some changes to both our booking form and our booking page, so we've got a whole lot to cover. Let's dive in. Okay, back over in VS Code, we can begin by creating our new services route. So we'll create a new folder, services. In that folder, we'll have a page.tsx. In here, we can use our React snippets to generate the boilerplate. We can rename this to services page. In here, we're going to be using our use router hook. So let's go ahead and import that. We can go ahead and get rid of this div. Put in a main tag. Okay, underneath our main tag, let's just do an h1 for now and put services in here. Let's go back over to our UI and see if this guy is working. Go over to services, and we've got our services header. Perfect. Sweet. Back to VS Code. Now, inside of this main tag, we're going to have more than just a header. We're going to use motion again. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Paste this motion in. Motion. Okay. Make sure that we're going to import motion from frame or motion. Perfect. Okay, underneath our h1, we'll put a div in here. Let's go ahead and close it off. Now, inside this div, we are going to map over a list of services. But first, we need to define that list of services. Okay, so we have our definition of services here. Just gave them a simple ID, a description, an image path, and a price. Again, like I mentioned before, all of the images and videos that I get in this project come from unsplash.com. Right, now that we have our services, let's go ahead and map over those guys. And look at autocomplete there. Amazing. Now, instead of a div and an h2, well, first off, let's just see that it works. Okay. Go back to the UI. We can see it works here. Back over in VS Code, instead of a div and an h2, I'm actually going to create a service card component. So let's go ahead and get started there. Go to components, new file, service card.tsx. Okay, React snippets to generate this boilerplate code again. Our services card is actually going to take in some props, mainly the service. And we'll just spread some other props in. Forgot a dot there. Now TypeScript is going to get mad because it doesn't know what service is, so let's go ahead and create an interface for that. Now we are going to use motion, so we're going to extend motion props here. So let's go ahead and get our import for that. Let's define our service type and a types service file. So let's go to our types, new file, service.ts. This is going to have an ID, a name, description, a price, and an image path, just like before. Perfect. Here we need to tell it that service is of type service card props. And we are chugging right along. Okay, let's get some content for these cards. First things first, we're going to use motion instead of a div. Let's go ahead and paste motion in there. I'm going to go ahead and close that off so I don't forget where I'm at. Now inside of motion, we're going to have a div, believe it or not. In that div, we will have an image coming from next image. We'll give it an empty source for now, just to validate that it's there. Give it an empty alt, just to make Typescript happy. All right, underneath that div, we're actually going to have another div in here with some content. I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. Here we're creating the body of the card with the service name, the description, the price, and a click to book call to action here. I'm missing a closing div, so let me get that in there. Amazing. Now you can see here we have a handle click method that we need to define. This one is super simple. We're just going to route to the booking page when the user clicks the card. We're going to have our booking page expect a query parameter, so it can pre-select that in the form. And this is looking good. For now, I'm going to comment this out just to make Typescript happy. We can go back to our page component. So now instead of a div, I can put in the service card. And to make this easy, I'm just going to pull out the index as well, so I can adjust the delay, make the cards kind of come in one after the other. Now we need to import our service card. Go ahead and give that a save. All right, look at that. Motion doing its thing. We've got our cards here without the images, and you can see if we click one of them, we get the query parameter up here in the URL. Now our form doesn't know what to do with this yet, but that's okay. We can update that. First things first, let's go ahead and get those images in those cards so we can see what these images are. Go over to VS Code, we'll go back to our card. Go ahead and uncomment this. This is actually going to come from the service.image path. We're going to assert that it's going to be there just to make things easy. Okay, and you can see the image is still mounted here because we haven't imported it from Next. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, give that a save. Go back over to Chrome and we can see that we have our images. Nice. This looks great. Now we don't have our background image, so let's go ahead and fix that. Back over to VS Code, back in our page. The reason we don't have our background image is because I need to put it right here. You can see we're pointing at this image. Gave it an alt attribute with a class name of BG and a height and width. Go ahead and give this a save. Go back over to Chrome, and you can see we have our background. Awesome. Now this page is almost there. You can see we've got our cards, and they do route us to our booking page the way we would expect. But we don't have this call to action. So let's go ahead and create that. Okay, back over in VS Code. Underneath our div tag here, we're going to create our call to action. So let's go ahead and note it there. We're going to reuse motion here. And I'm going to paste in a chunk of code just so I don't have to type it again. This is just a div with some styling, a paragraph, and a button. It says book your service now. And you can see we have this handle book now on click method. We just need to define that, and it's again a super simple one. Going to use our router here to push us to the booking page. Nice and easy. So let's go check it out in Chrome, and there it is. Amazing. Okay, so now we have our services, we have our pictures, we have our logic to route us to the booking page. Now we just need to update our form to handle pre-selecting the value that we clicked. So let's dive into that. And first things first, this is actually going to require some changes to the booking page itself. So let's start there. Okay, in VS Code, let's go to our book page. We're actually going to rename our booking page to booking page content. And we will recreate a booking page component. So let's go ahead and do that. Const booking page. In our booking page, we're going to return a React suspense fallback around the booking page content. Let's go ahead and import that chunk of code. And this will just help us handle the suspense case for using the use search params in our content. Okay, so we have our suspense, we have our fallback, and then we have our book page content. Now back up in our book page content, we need to use our search params. So let's go ahead and import that hook. And now what are we going to do with that? So we're going to gather the selected service based on the search params. And then we are going to pass that to our form. Now, before we get to our form though, we can create this little banner thing. I'll show you over here in the deployed version. We can create this little banner that shows you what the service is that you selected. So you can see if I go back and select content creation, that's updated with content creation. It's super easy. Right above our booking form in VS Code, we can just check that we have a selected service and then render out a div. And then in our booking form, we need to tell it what our pre-selected service is, if we have one. So we'll just tell it it's either that or undefined. Now our booking form component doesn't know what this prop is, so let's go ahead and change that. Okay, first let's create an interface. It says we have an optional prop, pre-selected service. We can tell we want our booking form to take this prop. And then for our form data, the service can either be the pre-selected service or an empty string. Go ahead and give everything a save. Make sure it's working in our UI still. So if we go back to our services tab, we click to book, navigates us to our book page, and we have our selected service. Amazing. Now what we don't have is that nice little automated scroll that you can see here. And that can be done with a use effect. So let's go back to VS Code. I'm going to put this use effect in here in our booking form. Let's put it right above our handle submit. Now using this use effect is going to require us to have a ref to the form. That is simple enough. We can come up here, right underneath our use router, we can import use ref. And now we have our form ref current. Sweet. we just need to tell React that our form ref goes to our form. And then we should be good to go. So let's give that a try. Let's go back over to Chrome. Click book. There we go. We got that nice little scroll into view. Amazing. Now we have the words web development in here, but we don't have the drop down. So let's go ahead and fix that. So first off, our form needs to understand what services it can render. And we can do that by actually exporting these services here that we defined in our page. These would probably be better served in like a util or something, but for now we can leave it here. Now that we have our services, we can go down to our form. Right underneath our email input. We can comment this one out for now, because we're going to change it from an input to a select. Look at that IntelliSense working. Okay, so we got our select, we have our class name, we have our required, our form data, we'll update that. And we are going to map over these services. We just have to make sure to import them. And then we're going to create an option for each one. Instead of the automatic suggestion here, I'm actually going to do the service and the price, just to make things a little bit easier to see. And then if we go back to our UI, we can actually see that that's already changed. Look at that. Love IntelliSense. Cool. So I think that's that done. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. We've covered a lot in this video series. We've touched everything from front-end design, building out reusable components, mocking out back-end logic, building type-safe APIs, and we did it all with complete and full type safety. I really hope this video series helped you gain an understanding of TypeScript and just how customizable and robust things can be. But I want to hear from you. Let me know down in the comments what you think I should do next. Until then, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.